Welcome to the Knowledge for Men show. Your life will never be the same.
Your level of success will seldom exceed your level of personal development.
I want to die empty of regret. I want to die empty of my best work. We don't understand who we are. Instead, we're living out somebody else's narrative.
What one man can do, another man can do. If it's been done, it can be done again.
Being yourself and being your truest, most authentic self in every moment. If it scares you or makes you a little afraid, do it. Follow your heart and your gut.
The first stage, I think, is finding you, like finding out who I am today.
Stuff will not work. You will have things that fail. Success is when you're a happy, fulfilled person. How do you define success?
It's your life, and you are the creator of the movie script that is your life story.
Do you ever feel like you're doing the journey alone? Have you ever felt like that you just need someone to talk to, someone who could bring some perspective into your world? Or maybe you're not the type of person who learns from watching video courses or reading books, and you just want to talk with someone specifically about your challenges and how to break through them. I want to introduce you to the High Performance Men's Coaching Program. It's an intensive coaching experience designed to unlock a man's full potential in his life, business, and relationships. Over this past year, I've brought together and trained some of the best coaches in the world to help men step up, stop playing small, and become the strongest versions of themselves. Learn more about High Performance Men's Coaching at kfmcoach.com. Again, that's kfmcoach.com. You are not alone, and we are here to cut through the crap, hold you accountable, and challenge you so that you can make your dreams become a reality. Go to kfmcoach.com to learn more and apply. All right, guys, welcome to the show. I'm here with Jaelin White. This is a guy that I met at the Ty Lopez influencer party, this mansion in Beverly Hills. And I thought I was just having a conversation with a young guy, and he starts talking. He tells me this guy, he's doing multiple six figures in real estate at wholesaling homes. And I'm like looking at him. I'm like, dude, you're like are you in high school? Like what, how old are you, bro? Jaelin is 19 years old. Jaelin, he's here today. How you doing?
What's up, man? I'm doing pretty dang good.
Man, so Jaelin, we start off every show with a favorite success quote or some sort of saying that the guest has lived by. So what do you got for us? And walk us through what that means to you.
Absolutely. So the most important quote to me is, you want to know the difference between a master and a beginner, is that the master has failed more times than the beginner has ever tried. And that means a lot to me because, in the beginning of when I started in real estate, obviously there's so many barriers. Being your age, I look like I'm a 16-year-old Justin Bieber.
Yeah, I was going to say that in the intro, but I didn't know how you take it, or if that was a curse of yours when you were younger or something.
No, absolutely not. So there was a lot of things that could potentially hold me back in my mind. And I held tight to this. I looked at a lot of properties before I ever even thought that I could make money on one. I talked to a lot of realtors. I talked to a lot of sellers and screwed up quite a bit. Whereas, a lot of people would try to get started in anything they do. We'll talk to a few people or maybe try to sell some stuff on the internet. Nothing works out, and then they just give up. So I just kept beating the dead horse or whatever, and until it finally got up and galloped away with me, I guess.
This is, really interesting hearing your quote and what you just shared. But I think what everyone is still thinking and like scratching their head about is, what the hell, man? You were making money. You started when you're 18, right?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I made my first 5-figure check 2 days before graduation. So
like high school.
Yeah.
And were you 18 or 17 at that time?
I was 18. Unfortunately, you can't do what I do legally at 17. So,
What's going on here? I'm still scratching my head. I've known you for over a month now, and I still don't get it. What is driving you? Why are you getting into this at such a young age? It's not necessarily normal. I think it's badass. I think it's awesome what you're doing, but it's just not normal. I don't know. I don't think I know one 19-year-old kid, 18-year-old kid who's doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first of all, I'm not that special. You look on the headlines, you'll see plenty of young business people who are succeeding, and that's proving to, more and more every day that age is not a factor. But anyways, like a lot of people listening right now, I'm sure you have a broke family. Maybe your bank account is not looking as good as you'd like it to. Maybe you have plenty of money, but you're not where you want to be. I was 18, or excuse me, let me backtrack a little bit. My parents moved away when I was 17, and I stayed there because I was in love with my high school sweetheart, who I'm now married to. And I realized, shoot, man, I am broke. I got a dream. I want to be an entrepreneur, but I haven't tried enough. I haven't tried enough to really be successful at anything. I was in network marketing and all that kind of fun stuff, but I never really went all out. And so I'm sitting here with my parents. I love my parents to death. They always provided food. But let's just say, as the saying goes, there's more month left at the end of the money in my family when I was growing up. So, growing up in that environment, I wanted to be able to provide a lifestyle and a family atmosphere where when I have kids with my wife and they want to go buy a bunch of stuff for Christmas, I'm not sitting in Target or Toys R Us worried about how much they're going to walk away at the register with. So I wanted to provide a limitless lifestyle for ourselves and really leave a legacy for my family so that there wasn't anybody asking for money because they needed to make their bills at the end of the month, so that my family was taken care of. So that was really the root reason that I went out and I discovered this business and real estate that I'm in, and have looked so far and pushed so far into the business world, is just to get past that feeling of being dead broke, because I'm sure everyone here knows what it feels like, and it freaking sucks. So that was one of the main reasons why I took the leap.
Yeah, and I understand why you did it, sharing that story. Why not after high school go into college and you could still get the career, get the job? What was it about real estate and investing in wholesaling properties that attracted? What was there for you?
Bottom line, that's a good question. Bottom line is that I don't like being told what to do by other people. And I'm sure a lot of people listening to this have that little entrepreneur bug where if someone tells you what to do, you're like, heck no, I'm doing the opposite thing. So I can't imagine sitting in a classroom being taught by in some cases, I'm sure they do have businesses or whatever, but being taught by people who have no clue what a real business that is profitable looks like. I didn't want to sit down looking through book theory when in reality, there's so many ways in this world that you can make money in the next couple weeks or the next couple months or the next couple years, rather than spending 50 to 100 grand on a college education, maybe more, and then waiting 4 years for a job that's going to pay me 50 grand a year, maybe, so that's a terrible return. If you ask me, 4 years, 50, 100, 200 grand on a college education to get a 50 grand job. I'd rather check out of that, maybe spend 5 grand on a good education program like Knowledge for Men or what I did with real estate, and get something that'll pay you multiple 6 figures to 7 figures a year right off the gate,
So you were investing in your education. So you were learning from other people who had the results that you wanted, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
Rather than someone who is not, I'm not here to say that college is bad if anyone is in college, or obviously many people went to college listening, but for you in this case, you wanted to learn from people who had results that you wanted. That was attractive.
Exactly. Yeah. And if anybody's in college right now and you think that's what you need, do it. There's no reason that that's a bad thing, but I'm speaking out of my personal experience and what I thought was best for me. I seeked out, and I didn't have money to pay. So if you're sitting here and you don't have money to pay, I went out and spent my time. I worked as an quote unquote intern for a local investor for a couple months. And then after that, I learned enough. I bought a $300 book, like a big fat textbook on how to invest from Rich Dad Poor Dad. And from there I learned, and I picked up each and every part of information that I could get and learned from the people who had the results, that I wanted, like you said. So
yeah. Okay. Now, when you're making that first deal, though, like you're putting money on the line, right? First you've invested, so you're actually you're losing money because you're spending money on your education here, so you're in the negative. And then now you're gonna find this deal, and aren't you spending money on that deal?
No, funny enough, there's a way to legally do it, and actually there's thousands of people doing what's called wholesaling. Is you put properties under contract that are good deals, you learn how to find a deal, and then you can assign that to a buyer. I mean, now there's certain things that you can do where if you act like a realtor, obviously that's not okay. And I don't want to get too into it because I know this is more for personal development.
Right.
But no, long story short, actually with my strategy, I had to put no money down. The only thing at risk was a $10 earnest money deposit. And there's certain stipulations in the contract to buy that states that I can assign it for a profit, which means that before closing, I get paid by the end buyer who wants that deal. So they'll pay me a 5-figure assignment fee or whatever I agree to with the buyer to buy me out of that deal.
So this is wholesaling properties.
That's wholesaling real estate.
This is a $10 investment, but you just got to put the deal together.
Exactly. You do invest a little bit in marketing. You know, I put out maybe $100 worth of marketing in Bandit signs because obviously, you know, you're not $0 in the bank. You can find a way to hustle and maybe get $100, $200 to invest to start out with. Because if you're trying to do anything with $0, good luck, man. Go get a job at McDonald's and save up 2 months worth of paychecks. You know, if you're really that broke, you know.
I'm curious to know how you handle the age when you're working a deal. You're working with people. How much older were these guys on your first few deals?
Absolutely. You know, my first deal, funny enough, he was actually like 22. He had inherited the property.
Right.
I don't know how, because most sellers are pretty old, but
right.
You know, I guess God just had it in the plans. So yeah, but most of the time they'll be like 30 or 40. My second deal, she was probably 35. And the funny thing is that if you're listening and you're afraid to get into a business like this, or you have some other business idea, all you need to do is to position yourself as an expert is know just 1% more than the other person. As soon as you start talking about the neighborhood comps, about how much it's going to cost to fix this garage door, about what you think you might be able to sell it after it's fixed up, about what you think it's going to take to fix up the property, all this, and you pull out your contract and you walk through step by step, all of a sudden you're positioned as an expert. So I don't care if you're 4'5" and you have the biggest baby face in the world, even more of a baby face than me, which is
it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat.
Yeah, absolutely. So once you start talking about those specific things in your business, people will all of a sudden start to respect you. And I carry myself in a way that if you don't respect me, I have no reason to buy your house. So if you don't respect me, I'll just walk out and you can be left paying 2 mortgages, you know, and be a motivated seller without me. So
why I bring up that question is because for anyone, it doesn't matter wholesaling anything, that we sometimes come up with an excuse to why we can't do something. And it seems like you have solved that by showing up prepared, by investing in your education, by doing an internship. And were they even paying you at the internship, or were you just hustling for free?
Oh, absolutely not. I hustled for free.
Yeah. You're hustling for free, and you're struggling financially at that time, I take it.
Oh, absolutely. I was sleeping on my now wife, her dad's couch. So, you know, I was dead broke.
Now, looking at your story here, it's like a catapult almost, where you had to take a few steps back by working for free. You're financially in a tough situation. You know, you're putting in time, and the thing with what you're doing, and with any endeavor, you don't know if you're actually going to get that outcome. Like you're hoping that you will, and the education will increase the odds of it actually succeeding. But you're doing all this in spite of not actually knowing that you're going to see an ROI.
Yeah, absolutely. And that can be a little bit scary. I mean, but honestly, what you got to realize, if something like a thought like that is holding you back, you better just go get a job, you know, because at the end of the day, you really have to have a whatever it takes sort of attitude when you're looking to be successful in business. And I don't care if you got to go scrub a bathroom floor 7 days a week just to pick that little tiny tidbit of information from the mentor you're looking for. So you better buck up and figure out what you want to do, make a definite decision to make that happen, and then go take the actionable steps, you know. And no matter what business you're in, there's some sort of actionable step that you can take, and you'll realize what that step is once you make the definite decision where I'm going to be successful in this endeavor, whether it's real estate, whether it's insurance, anything else. I'm going to make the definite decision to make this amount of money by this time, and it will happen no matter what, because I'm going to make it happen. So once you have that mindset, I think that the next steps, you know, towards what you need to do will be shown to you by your mind. I don't know how else to explain it, you know.
No, it's coming together here clear. So go ahead, Jaelin, and take us back to a time in your life when, or just on this journey here, when you encountered a massive failure or challenge on this journey, and how did you overcome that?
Absolutely. Well, you know, just because you make some money and start a business doesn't mean that it's always going to work out. So there was a time in maybe it was March where I had spent probably 15 or 20 grand on marketing, and I had absolutely no deals. So I was getting a little bit, you know, bills were always paid because I save 6 months of expenses in the bank. I think that's important if you're listening as well, once you do start making money. But as far as my business goes, I was like, where the heck is the profit, man? So at that point, I was in a little bit of a slump. I'm like, wow, is this business really sustainable? I've made, 6 figures so far, but I've definitely hit a plateau and a roadblock. And I overcame that by starting to innovate and finding new mentors. I just followed what had been taught to me up to that point, which was not always by people who were doing massive amounts of money. They were making money like I had been, but they had never taken it to that next level, which I realized that's what I needed to do. So what I did? I spent $5,000 on a real estate hot seat event with a guy who's now one of my really good friends. His name's Rafael Vargas. And I learned some tips that took me, and I went back into my business, and I did pretty solid the next month. And then June, I had like a huge month, like close to a 6-figure month, off those strategies. So I think that if you're in a slump, maybe you've made some money, find a new way to innovate and find new mentors who can help you break through that slump, which is exactly what I did. And let's just say that that 15 or 20 grand I spent on marketing or whatever it was paid for pretty nicely in the next coming months. So
wow. And it's what I catch there is you were losing money, 15, 20K on the marketing, and you still went and spent $5,000 on this real estate, on it's education, real estate education to learn from others who have the results that you want. And so you were willing to even go further back. Like if I'm thinking of a slingshot here, you're willing to go, take even a step back again to make it happen. I think that is a moment when someone's investing money, and if it's not working, wherein you easily could have tapped out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and at the end of the day, it wasn't even $5,000; it was like 6 or 7 because I also have the travel costs.
Right, yeah, adds up quick.
It goes along with this, man. I like to bet on myself more than I like to bet on anything else. So that's why I wasn't, and let me put it into the correct light. I didn't just say, yeah, $5,000 sounds great, let me slap it down. I was pretty hesitant.
Yeah.
But luckily, Raphael called me and explained and basically closed me. It was one of the best decisions I ever made.
Yeah. There's that moment when, you have to make that decision to invest in something. And if you're putting yourself back in that state, like the fears, the thoughts, like what if this doesn't work? What if I'm being sold to? What if this is the wrong decision? You're taking care of yourself and also your now wife. It's it's a tough situation, but you decided to bet on yourself and make that happen for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And at the end of the day, if you're not taking a little bit of a risk, an educated risk, because it wasn't like I didn't know this. It wasn't like that I didn't know who Raphael was. He was proven doing, massive, money that I've never seen from any of my past mentors. So, you find a proven person. I think, Andrew, you're one of those proven people. And you follow what they tell you to do. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's talk about some of like your daily habits that would make someone more successful at this. And by this, I don't necessarily mean wholesaling. I mean at what they're working on.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that a lot of people put most of the attention into the morning ritual, and I think that that's very, very important. But look, I've woken up at 5 a.m. and done my morning ritual, and then had a crappy day where I didn't produce anything. So what you really got to realize is that the meat of your day needs to be spent on the revenue generating activities. So for me, those activities are calling sellers. Now that I have an acquisitions person who handles the sellers, it's setting up new marketing streams that can bring a solid return. And I also think that it's very important to reward yourself once you put in that work. Obviously when I went out and made a massive amounts of money, the next day we're at a nice dinner. So I don't think just grinding 24/7 is the answer. You've got to put in the grind knowing you're going to reward yourself once, the fruits have come. In a controlled manner. Don't go blow everything.
Right.
But it's really the main thing I would stress is just put your attention to revenue generating activities. If it's generating podcasts, if it's finding new ways to generate leads, spend the bulk of your time doing that. And obviously it's still important to go to bed at a decent hour or get a decent amount of sleep, wake up early, get prepared for the day, and have your day planned out in a way that, again, you do spend your time on the revenue generating activities. So
yeah, really good stuff. It's so easy to get caught in the daily grind and not focus on what is actually going to move that needle forward, especially in the business. And if it's that revenue income generating activities, absolutely. I'm interested too in 19 years old. what do your friends think of what you're doing? And also, who are you surrounding yourself with on a daily basis?
Yeah, that's a good question. So as far as my friends, I don't really have any that are my age. I have one of my friends, his name's Alex, and he's a beast. He's 19. After I, had some success in real estate, he came on and asked me what I was doing. I explained it. He went out and learned it all himself, and now he's made six figures, and actually multiple six figures in a couple different businesses. So he's taken off. That's a person I hang out with. And then I have a couple of other buddies who are doing seven figures in real estate, and one has a car dealership. And they're 31 and 27. So that's who I hang out with most. That's my core crew. And then also I'm friends with a guy, I don't know if you know who he is. His name's Ty Lopez. So I text him every now and then when I'm really confused with something in my business, and he helps. And then I also have a buddy named Chris Record. He's down here in Scottsdale. And I text him whenever I have a massive burning question. But one thing I will say, man, is it's important to have high-level friends. But once you get your hands-on contact information of those high-level mentors, do not abuse it. Like, only ask the best questions, because I swear, I've sent some dumb texts where I'm like, I'm sorry, bro, I did not mean to ask a question. That's stupid. So think about what you're going to ask the high-level people before you ask it, because you don't want to waste the time.
Yeah,
so
respecting their time. I'm curious, man, how do you get in contact with these guys? These are some big names you're talking about, really successful people. You sound like you're the youngest of the crowd here. How are you getting in contact with these people? How are you building these relationships?
It's as simple as this. Find a way to be interesting. And Andrew, I know you know a ton about that, because you're an absolute beast. I definitely look up to you at this point. Find a way to get interesting, and understand that these people are not going to be the end-all be-all answers to your issues or what you want to achieve in business. So go find a way to generate six figures, seven figures. And once you're turning a really solid income in multiple different business opportunities, I would say find a way to generate a really solid income, and find a way to be an interesting person. Sharpen your social skills. I know Knowledge for Men has a ton of stuff, where you can really develop yourself. And then you realize that real recognizes real. And when you do put yourself around these people, like I'm going to Ty's parties, or I went to Chris's event and then went to his house afterwards, because when you get to the 5-second or 10-second window to talk to those people, and you know what you're talking about, and you've developed yourself to a certain point, they will recognize that. And at that point, it's all social skills. So find a way to be interesting, sharpen your social skills, and make some money before you ever try to be best friends. Unless you're trying to go for like an internship, then obviously it's a lot different. And I wouldn't be able to talk about that because I haven't tried to work for any of them. But, I try to become more of a friend basis, and look at them as a mentor. So,
No, that's huge. I think it's so huge, and it's such a critical thing to surround yourself with the right people who are at your same level, who are above you. And I really, I respect how you're saying, like, really value their time, and don't just send them and take advantage of that phone contact. Like, really cherish that contact and only use it when necessary. And, I find that, like, I'll go to an event, or I just hosted an event, and one of the biggest fears at the end of an event is typically what happens next. And it's like, you can build that social circle. Like, if you're in this room, you're a leader. Like, you can go out there and start building your skill set up, become a stronger individual, become a stronger grounded man, start pursuing your thing. Like, and then when you pursue your thing, like, you add value to the other people.
Yeah, exactly. And I do want to add one more thing that I think is worth mentioning, is that you don't need to start with the big names. Once you find your niche and what you want to have a business based around, whether it's real estate, e-commerce, or insurance, or whatever it is, then start meeting, not celebrities, but people who are successful in that niche who you think are worth spending time around. Like me, I have buddies in the Valley that we meet for lunch once or twice a week, who are doing, 6-7 figures in real estate. So that keeps my motivation up. It keeps me pushed. And then if there's a big thing going on, then I go to the higher level mentors that I kind of have lined up. So, if that makes any sense, I think
it does, man. You've got your own board of directors. And there's like the chairman that you rarely ask questions to, but you've got like your key people for different aspects of your business and life that you reach out to. And it just keeps you moving forward. I mean, because when you're with these guys and they're having these conversations and you're at these nice places or you're at their house or what have you, doesn't it change your way of thinking? like, wow, this is possible. Like, look what is possible here.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a give take relationship too, because, you know, you look at what they're doing. Maybe they just had 100. My buddy Carlos and Sal, they just had 2 back-to-back 100K months doing exactly what I do. So I'm like, dang, man, I'm not at 100K every month yet. Let's freaking step it up. You know, so it's definitely got a motivating factor. One of them, Sally's got a Lamborghini. So, you know, I mean, come on, you can't be motivated. You can't not be motivated by a friend who has a Lamborghini, you know, so.
Right. Jaelin, let's dive into the knowledge round. I'm just going to ask you a few more rapid fire questions, the shorter responses from yourself. Let's dive in. So you might be wondering, why would I ever invest in a coach? I've never done anything like that before. Well, it's going to shorten your learning curve and save you the time that it would take to achieve your goal. You can avoid making mistakes that you would otherwise make. You'll get more results because everything will be tailored to your specific needs and challenges. The coach will hold you accountable so you can't procrastinate, so you can't be lazy, so you can't say, I didn't have the time. You'll be challenged and pushed harder than you've ever been pushed. You'll have conversations so powerful that you'll feel more energized, alive, and confident and certain about the goals that you have in front of you and where you want to go. Most importantly, where you want to be. You'll go farther than you've ever gone before when you have a coach. If you want to learn more about our high performance men's coaching program, go to kfmcoach.com. Again, that's kfmcoach.com to learn more about our high performance men's coaching program. You have got to understand that every successful person in the world invests in coaching to go from good to great. And if you're already a high achiever, then how much more could you achieve if you had a high performance men's coach at your side to push you even further? Go to kfmcoach.com to learn more and apply for our high performance men's coaching program. Again, that's kfmcoach.com. And the first question I just want to dive in here with is, what would you say are like 3 of your most influential books that have really helped you on your journey?
Yeah, so number 1 would definitely be Think and Grow Rich. That really, I read that when I was 16. That built the foundation. I know it's cliche. Everyone talks about it. Go read that book. Number 2 would be Rich Dad Poor Dad, because that book showed me, you know, the potential in real estate. And I eventually went to one of their free seminars. That's who I learned my business from. And then a couple of other guys, you know, on YouTube and stuff. And then my 3rd book, I would probably say I have this one called Cashfluence, I think is what it's called. It's a marketing book and taught me a lot about sales psychology, you know, knowing that you have what other people need and how to set that up. And I would say another one is Robert Cialdini's Psychology. I can't remember the name of it.
Is it Influence? Robert Cialdini's Influence? Yeah.
Influence. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Books like that are so important when learning how to set up whatever your product or service is in the consumer's eyes. So
great. And what would you tell yourself if you could go back to when you first started, knowing what you now know today? And
absolutely.
You had 60 seconds to sit down with your former self here.
So I would probably be a 16-year-old. I would probably say,
oh, shit.
I would honestly say this. Look, you're looking at people who are making $5,000 a month, which is a solid income, but that is not who you want to be. Go follow somebody and figure out exactly what they're doing. Doesn't have to be face-to-face, could be on the internet. Figure out what they're doing. Are they doing lead generation, whatever, and copy them and figure out a way to turn that into a profit. So that's exactly what I would say. Because when I was young, I did not have high-level mentors that I looked up to. I had people who are making modest amounts of money that are still, you know, they're decent amounts of money. If you're making that, it's not a bad thing. But look for people making massive amounts of money where you want to be in a year, 2 years, maybe 5 years. So,
all right. And Jaelin, what do you think is holding most men back from being able to build that 6-figure business or take their business to that next level?
I think that the most important thing is not making the definite decision and having the persistence to continue going after that definite decision. So if you feel like you have no direction, it's because you didn't make a definite decision to be successful at something. If you see other people successful in the thing that you're trying to do, maybe you're trying to take your business 7 figures. Do I know other people who have done it? Yes, I do. Let me make a definite decision. I'm going to do 7 figures by December 1st, 2016 by doing this each and every week and each and every month, and lay out that plan for yourself. And once you do, it's going to become clear in your mind and you're going to be elevated to another way of thinking that will allow you to overcome that. and that's what you have to do to overcome a rut, and that's what's worked for me in the past. So
yeah, really good. Jaelin, man, 19 years old. I'm excited to follow and see what happens next, but I'm interested too. And then like talk about your vision. What do you see for yourself for the next few years or even long term, next 10 years or so? I mean, dude, the way you're talking, man, like you're inspiring me and I'm being moved here. And so like what's going on in your mind here for the next few years?
Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, so for the next few years, I'm really strong on taking my business to consistent multiple 7 figures. And from there, going into building an apartment empire. You know, I know one of my mentors, Grant Cardone. I don't have his phone number, but he's definitely a guy I follow a lot. He has like $4 million a month in passive cash flow. So that's one of the things I'm going to take it up to. And also, my wife is really big on YouTube. So I think one of my goals in the next 10 years is going to be to really get well known and in the spotlight a little bit. Might sound crazy, but you have a lot of business connection opportunities once you're pretty well known. So that's one of the things that we're going to push. We're talking to a couple of different production companies for a house flipping TV show, because money is not the only goal. I definitely want to make a difference and be able to be the biggest tither at my church and to inspire my family and to hopefully eventually develop a following of people who want to be entrepreneurs and take that next step. So at this point, I'm building my own bridge. I'm putting that mask on myself like they tell you to do in the airplane and building my income. Once I get to that, a couple million a year from my main business and then building the apartments, then I want to be able to inspire people like hopefully we did on this call. So
absolutely, you inspired a ton of people on this call today, including myself, Jaelin. Man, this has been an impactful call. I'm so excited to see what happens next and to follow this journey that you're on. And where can people follow you? So you're talking about some social media, some things that you want to do. So yeah, where can people follow you right now?
Definitely. So probably the best places to follow me are on Instagram and Facebook. My Instagram username is just my name. And then on Facebook, obviously, you can find me at Jaelin White, Jaelin White. And I did want to say I apologize if I rambled a little bit. Hope you were able to pick out, the good information in there.
Jaelin, you're all good, man. So guys listening, it's real easy. Jaelin White Real Estate in Google and all of his stuff pops up and you can see he's been on a lot of different media outlets. You can check out some of his other conversations he's had in blog posts and podcasts. Jaelin is spelled Jaelin and then just White and then just put in real estate and you'll see his Instagram, social media, all that stuff. Jaelin, it's been a pleasure having you here on the show.
Thank you so much, Andrew. You're a boss, and I want to say, anybody listening, you found a good guy right here.
Thank you for listening to the Knowledge for Men podcast. Hundreds of interviews and millions of downloads later, we're continuing to build an international movement, and we're just getting started. So if you enjoyed this episode, go ahead and leave a helpful review in iTunes because it really helps the podcast grow so we can impact even more men in the world who need this. Guys, this is all about living with purpose, where every day you only do things that matter to you. You wake up, live with purpose, and take massive action towards the life you want. And always remember, love the life you have while creating the life of your dreams. Go to kfmfree.com to get a surprise bonus I've made for my listeners. Again, that's kfmfree.com for something that's changed my life, and I'm offering it to you for free. Also, check out my Amazon best-selling books that I've written for you to help you crush life at kfmauthor.com. Again, that's kfmauthor.com to see all the books I've created to help you break through in life. This is your host, Andrew Farabee, founder of knowledgeformen.com, and I'll see you in the next episode.